Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 28 of tracking the local shifting real estate market here in South Jersey, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, $900,000 and under. We are right in the middle of July. It is incredibly hot out, and some of our stats are actually hanging out in a comfortable range. It's not comfortable outside, but the ranges of our metrics are pretty comfortable. So, what I did like to see, and we've been hoping for this for weeks, our total active listings at 1208 is the highest that it has been in 17 weeks. We started the year up at almost 1,500, but that had plummeted very quickly through January, February, and March. And so now to kind of really since the kind of the halfway point, beginning of June, halfway point in June, we've seen just this very, very slow accumulation of some newer listings on the market. So that we like to see because it gives our buyers more options to choose from. It creates a little bit less of a feeding frenzy per house. The offers are aggressive, but not ridiculous. So that is a trend. If we can all hope for something trend line wise, we're going to hope to see those total active listings continue to rise above 1,200. I will rue the day when we get to 13 back to 1,400 total active listings. Now, with that being said, some of our other stats have all been fairly even. Our new listings, our pendings are closed. Closed was down this week, but we sort of knew that because we were down last week with pendings, and we just also knew that because of the 4th of July weekend, there weren't a lot of people who had scheduled closings over this past week, so that's kind of natural, right? Summer vacations are always playing into that. So all that's good. Our prices rebounded a little bit back. We had kind of went from 339 down to 333, back up to 338. So all that's fine. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. And this is going to be a pretty quick and short video as we stop getting major updates. And I just want to kind of fill you in on where we stand with things. But I read an article. It was actually put out in May. A gentleman named Bill Doyle had put this out, and he reviewed what he thought were the hottest markets in New Jersey. Now, the way that they do this is interesting, and it is basically a sold price to list price ratio, meaning you listed your home at 300,000 but it sold at 340. So they effectively are using that ratio across the entire market for a given period of time to determine how hot the market is, right? So that's how we arrived at this. Now, we have been tracking these counties, Burlington and Camden, Gloucester's included, but for what this article read, Burlington County is the second hottest county in all of New Jersey for that sold to list price ratio as of, again, May of this year. So we're going back 2 months, but a lot of that same data, I mean, we've been watching it, a lot of that same data still applies. That's number 40. That's top 50 in the nation. Top 50 in the nation, right? And there was even one above that in New Jersey. So, so anyway, with that being said, Burlington was number 2, but Camden County was number 5 in New Jersey and only number 66 in the nation. So when we start thinking about this, is this only a New Jersey thing? No, not really. Burlington and Camden counties in New Jersey are 2 of the top 5 in the entire state in terms of that sold to list price ratio, how aggressive, how hot that market was. But when we look across the country, it's not surprising to me to see that we are top, number 46 and number 66 counties in the entire U.S. for that sold to list price ratio. And again, there are thousands of counties in the entire U.S. So to be in the top, even just the top 100, top 70, with 2 of our counties being in there, and at least for the ones that we track, are pretty incredible. So that's what I wanted to kind of give you a little bit more of a continental, how should I kind of put this? Anyway, just a reference point for where we sit against the rest of the US. We're not number 1, we're not number 2 in the country. No, we're not quite there yet, right? But where we are is the top 50 and the top 70 for Burlington and Camden County. So when we start to think, okay, well, is this the same as it is everywhere? Not necessarily, but it's also not. I mean, we are top 46. That means there's 45 other counties somewhere in the US that are going through this same thing. They're going through this same hot market. So this hot market is across the US. It's not just a New Jersey thing, but Burlington and Camden County, while we are here in New Jersey, it is a real factor. So that's really all I wanted to come at you with today is that. Now, the last thing that I was also reading as we were going through some of those similar articles was there was a prediction, and I'll see if I can try and find the article. There was a prediction made that 40% of all single family rentals will be owned by institutions by the year 2030. Let me say that again. 40% 4 out of every 10 homes that will be a single family rental, right? So I own a home and I turn around and rent it to somebody, to a family, to whoever, right? 40% of those are going to be owned by institutions, Vanguard, BlackRock, other large kind of real estate conglomerates that purchase up these homes in mass, right? Now, they really don't care about pricing fluctuations and interest rate fluctuations that we're having today because they can afford it. They can afford it knowing that they're going to hold these assets long term, and they know what's happening with inflation. They know what's happening with the housing markets. Why do you think so many of them are starting getting into that? Even Elon Musk with Tesla is building entire communities around his factories for very similar reasons. He's going to rent those back out to his employees, and he'll also be able to get not only the cash flow from those developments, but also the appreciation that he knows is also coming in the real estate market. So, again, I talked to you today saying if you are considering purchasing, but you're waiting for the market to get a little bit better, whether you want home prices to decline, whether you want to wait for interest rates to come back down, whether you want to wait for the skies to open and somebody to come down and tell you now is the time to buy, right? Please don't wait for those things. Please don't wait for those things. That's not sound logic. It's not bearing itself out in the local data. It's not bearing itself out based on the policies and the positions that major institutional players around the US are taking in regards to the housing market over the next 7 years. So, if I were you, I would maybe see what they're up to. Again, I talk to my fiance all the time. Very happy that we purchased our home in October. We've already gained equity in our home. We've already had a conversation about refinancing when the rates come down a little bit slightly, and then we'll be able to ride that inflation wave as best we can. We're also moving hell and high water as quickly as we can to turn around our savings and buy investment properties. We know that buying those investment properties today, because we know that the prices are going to continue to appreciate, and we'll be able to not only enjoy the cash flow from the asset, build a wealth foundation for our future, get ourselves to a point of financial security and financial freedom where the interest and the cash flow from our investments will pay for the lifestyle that we want. That is the only game that we're playing at the moment. I could yell and preach and scream here on videos for you to do the same, but at the end of the day, you have to come to those decisions naturally. Most of the time, if before we're ready to make a decision like that, it's not a matter of waiting amount of time. We think that by waiting, we're going to acquire new information that's going to help us get to that decision. Why don't we cut through that and just talk? Let's just talk. I have no horse in this race about getting you into something tomorrow. What I want to do is have a consultation with you, speak with you. We don't sign stuff, we don't sign agreements or anything like that. We just talk, and we have an opportunity for me to relay to you and for you to relay to me what you want. And I'll tell you, hey, I think that's a great strategy. Have you thought about X, Y, and Z? Or I'll tell you too, I'll say, look, I think the avenue that you're pursuing with this, you're going to run into roadblocks X, Y, and Z. And I want to explain to you why I think you might run into those, but also offer you solutions in order to prevent those things from happening in the future. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. Again, hoping to see some of our total active listings continue to just slightly incline as we go, give a little bit more options for those buyers. Have a great day, everybody. Stay cool. See you later.